You've made your music, you now want to master it. Should you use online mastering? Well, of course, I think you should use online mastering because I'm a mastering engineer. But let me give you a real sort of true opinion of online mastering, why it's helpful, and fuck. So I like to be honest on this channel. I like to give you my opinion on everything, whether it's right or wrong. And so I'll give you my opinion on online mastering. Obviously, I'm a mastering engineer. I'm slightly biased, but I can tell you why I think it works and why it doesn't. So I actually have a little bit of history of online mastering because in the early 2000s, when people were a little bit scared to go online, I developed the first online mastering service, which was called eMasters. And then, as broadband and things started getting bigger and bigger and people started buying more things online, then all the other studios jumped in. So I was a big kind of person who started that whole kind of online sending your tracks to be mastered. So I'm a bit biased in that way and why I think it's good. But the reason why it's become so good now is because so many people are working in their home studios. At the time when I started, they weren't. But because everyone is now, they're very much stuck with one set of speakers, one perspective on the music, and then one room that they have. Now, their confidence levels are going to be high in their selected area, as in if they're a mix engineer. But when it comes to mastering, they will then think they could do it themselves. But for a very small amount of money, between £50 and £200 or dollars, you can actually just send your track off to one of the top mastering guys in the world who will have a room that's specially designed, have some speakers, all they do is mastering, and you can have your track sent there and then have them work on it. Whether you like the result or not is a totally different matter. And also, whether that engineer is good, that's up to you to decide before you send it off to them. Everyone now has that facility for you to be able to do that. So you can pick and choose on stuff that they've worked on, genres that they're good at. And then you can then say, okay, I'm going to give them a go. And, for a very small amount of money, it's very easy just to get your track mastered and see if you like it. Now, that is great because you've got a new set of ears who are going to come back and report back and say, have you thought about tweaking this, that and the other? And then you can get a better sound out of your mix. They might just say it's great. So then that gives you the confidence to think, okay, my room's set up well and I'm doing the right thing when it comes to mixing. It's just having that extra person there who's a professional, who understands the sound and what things should sound like when they're very finished. And then that will help you progress. I think that's very important rather than trying to mix and master yourself or record, mix and master yourself. It's trying to keep these things as a specialist place and not just have them all sort of, together so that you're just smashing into a limiter. Now, I will say as a mastering engineer who does tracks every day, and I also listen to people's reference masters that they've done themselves, and I would say to you, probably 75% of the time I will always get a better sound than their limited version. And that's not with me listening and comparing and trying to get better. That's just me doing what I do and then listening back to what they did and then me showing them what I did. I will always get a better sound. I'll always get it more open. I'll always get it louder if that's what they want. But, I will always have that different perspective on it. I'm not listening to the individual instruments. I'm not worried about what the problems were with the mixes. I'm just taking it on face value and then reporting back to the mix engineer, asking for tweaks and then getting it to the place where I want to go. And so I think just having that as an online facility is something that's pretty amazing these days, because in the old days before I started eMasters and before the whole online world came about in the last 20 years, you had to turn up with your tapes and you had to make sure that there was a mastering guy that could do it and fit it into his schedule, and there was only about 10 good studios in London. There was probably the similar amount in New York. And so to get your tapes there, you would have to either send them in the post and then, hope that the guy did his job, then he'd send you a CD back or a reference, and it just takes ages. So now, because it's so fast, you can master something within 24 hours, you can know if it sounds great, and then you can ask for tweaks and know where you are. So I would say, yes, always it's worth doing online mastering. It's worth doing it just because the value for money it's so cheap to do. Compared to if you're having a mix done where it's going to cost you 500 to 1,000, it's literally 10% of that. So give it a go. Try people out. Everyone puts it on their website now for online mastering, so give it a go. I hope you got something good out of this video. Please let me know in the comments what you think and if you've used online services. and whether you've had good results or bad results. I'm always interested in knowing your feedback. Please subscribe to the channel, please thumb it up, and thanks for watching. Till next time, bye.